Alright, you guys, thanks for tuning in. This is our very first podcast, so I'd like to welcome you all to the adventures of Charlie and Sid.
And Georgie.
My name is Charlie.
My name's Sid.
And Georgie is our little rescued mutt from San Diego.
Yeah, if you hear jingles in the background, that's his collar.
He moves around a lot.
He's a little ball of energy.
He really is, but we love him. A little background on us, I think we should start with, right?
Yeah, sure. My name's Sydney. I grew up in Arizona. And we're going to be talking about our haunted experiences today. So I've lived in 3 separate houses today, or in my life, I mean. Not just today.
We're still shaking out the nerves.
Just a little bit. And this is the only one that I actually believe is haunted.
Right. We have, before we were together, dealt with a lot of haunted things.
Right.
Once we got together, though, I don't know what signal was sent out into the universe saying, like,
they're together!
Go! Attack! Like, it's insane.
That's when shit hit the fan.
Right. So this podcast is really going to be about all of our haunted experiences.
Yes.
My name is obviously Charlie. I was born in California. I moved to Arizona.
And that's how you can hear her slight Valley girl accent that she still can't shake.
I don't think I have it anymore, but my wife was very insistent on the fact that I do.
No.
So I really love all that supernatural ghost shit. I love it.
Gives you some life.
It gives me so much life. I love Ouija boards. Let me just pause here for a second, because I want to make it clear. I hate things like ghosts catching shows on TV. I think that's all bullshit.
What are you talking about? You've watched ghost shows, like, since I met you.
I watch them, but I hate them. I, watch them
out
of hatred. Have you never just watched the show, out of hatred?
Yeah, when you make me watch Dance Moms.
Okay, no. Have you ever, on your own, watched a show purely out of hatred?
No, I watch shows that I want to watch.
Okay, well, I'm the weird one here, because I just watch those shows because I'm just angry. I'm like, no, that's bullshit, and that's stupid, and that probably didn't happen. But in my own life, any little thing moves, and I'm just like, babe, we're fucking haunted!
Ghosts! And I'm just like, babe, the window's open.
Yeah, my wife's always the logical one. She's definitely the skeptic, which I think balances me out pretty well, even though I don't listen to her whenever she decides to put logical reasoning into things.
Logic? What is that? That has no place in our marriage.
Listen. Oh, okay. You know what? We'll let the stories speak for themselves. Tonight we're actually going to be talking about our very first experiences with ghosts that we know of, obviously, because there could be things we don't remember.
No.
Anyways, it's our very first experiences with ghosts. Sydney, you want to go ahead and...
Alright, my first experience was with what we call the White Lady. That's...
Ooh.
Thank you for that. The
You're
White
welcome.
Lady, if you mention the White Lady to anyone in this household, they'll all know exactly what you're talking about.
Disclaimer, just because we don't live on our own.
At the moment.
At the moment.
Before.
Right. Right now, we're living in my mother-in-law's house, so Sid's mom.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of people living in this house. Sorry, I just wanted to make that clear.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
For interrupting me.
Okay, go ahead.
So everyone knows who this is. She's this young lady in a very old white nightgown. Remember the nightgown because it comes back later. The first time that I ever heard of her my brother actually named her because he was always seeing her around. He would... Why are you doing that?
Continue. Married life.
He was always seeing her around. I remember once he ran into my bedroom crying because he said the white lady was chasing him, which isn't what you want to hear from your 6-year-old little brother. And my... What?
I'm sorry. I just imagine that. Like...
He was always crying about something, though.
Yeah, I can't imagine just my little brother running into my room screaming about a white lady chasing him, because my first instinct would not be ghost.
Mine
I would
either.
be like, what bitch is in this house chasing my little brother?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of white ladies in my household.
That's true.
There were none in yours. So... My aunt actually stayed here one night, and we were all swimming, having like a little barbecue out back. And she was trying to get changed, and she knocked on the bathroom door, and someone said, yes. And then she
that
said,
gave me chills. I don't know why. Just the way you said that just gave me chills. Continue.
It sounded like a young girl, so she assumed that it was me. And she was like, oh, sorry, I'll see you outside. And then she went outside, and I was actually in the pool. And so she was like, did you sneak past me or something? I just talked to you in the bathroom. And I was like, no, I've been out here for about half an hour. So
I don't know who you talked to.
Right. So she was really freaked out after that. And that night, she actually said she saw the white lady standing over her when she woke up. She woke up in the middle of the night and saw this white figure in a white nightgown standing over her, which is terrifying to think about.
I don't know how she did not just shit her pants right then and there. just looking up and finding some fucking ghost staring at you. Oh,
you would have had to change your pants.
I would have. No, I would have shit a brick. I would have literally just I would have died.
Would you have shit a brick or died?
I would have shit a brick and then died.
Oh.
Okay.
In that specific order.
In that, maybe. I don't know. I don't know what happens to your body after you die. I could shit a brick after I'm dead.
You could. I still didn't believe any of this until I was about...
She's so hard-headed.
I'd say 12-ish. And I was going to the bathroom in, like, the middle of the night. And I look over, and there is this white nightgown floating through the air in the kitchen. I can... see through from the hallway. I can look out and see the living room and the kitchen, and this white nightgown just floating, not like
was there anything like attached to the nightgown?
No.
Or was it just like
just a nightgown? There was
what did it look like?
It was long. It had long sleeves. It was lacy, and
were the sleeves like puffy? Like, I imagine, like, old-timey nightgowns. They always had super, like, poofy sleeves.
No, there were no poofy sleeves. It was, like...
That's disappointing.
It was just, like, a cotton nightgown. It was white. It had, like, lace neck around the neck. And also, like, a piece of ribbon tied around it. It was weird. There was no head, no feet, no arms. Nothing coming out of it. Just a floating nightgown.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I haven't personally... I've lived in this house twice. I've lived here once when Sid and I first started dating. And now, obviously, we're living here temporarily for a while. And I've never actually seen the white lady. There was a close call. There was a close call. Turns out, just different ghosts. No biggie. We actually had an experience with a Ouija board. And the white lady, we did. Mm-hmm. So I know that Ouija boards are kind of... I'm so sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong, because I feel like there's a lot of different ways people say that.
No, I'm pretty sure that's how you...
Ouija. Whatever it is. Like, we know there's super conflicting views on it, but I love it. I absolutely love doing Ouija boards. My wife and I both do them all the time. I mean, we just do them for fun. We do them to, like, pass the time or whatever. And we don't go into it with any expectations.
Right.
Right. So we just do it like, I don't know, just like a fun little thing. But for whatever reason, every single time we do one, crazy shit seems to happen.
Always.
Every single time. Like, and we've tried to debunk each other. We tried to be like, you're moving it. No, you're moving it.
I still think you're moving it.
I never do. I would put it on everything that I don't. But at the same time, I still think that my wife moves it too. Like, it's just...
Right.
But the point is, neither of us are. We're going into this believing each other that neither of us are moving it. Because, I mean, there's been some really scary things, like, where we've been truly terrified of even leaving our room. And I don't think that either of us would do that to each other.
Right.
We'd tell each other. So, when this time around, when we were using the board, we ended up talking to one spirit who called himself the leader, right?
Mm-hmm. Or the keeper.
The keeper, yeah. He said there was 7 spirits in the house.
7, yeah.
One of these 7, obviously, being the White Lady.
Right.
We talked to him for a little bit, and we'll save that for a different podcast, because that is a whole nother story. That's on everything we talked to him. But specifically about the White Lady, we asked him if we can talk to her.
And he said no, because she was weak and confused.
Which actually correlates really well with what the descriptions of the White Lady that we've had from several different people.
Right. She does seem very weak and very confused.
Right. And he said something about her having a bad death.
Yeah, like she was murdered or something.
Right. And we don't know, like, the details. We don't even know if it happened, like, here in this house. But it seems like this is the only place where she
is attached to.
Right. So we did a little bit of research trying to find anything that may have happened during that time, and we couldn't find any, like, murder or crime that happened specifically in this house. But
we do know that the house was built in 1981, which means that a murder could have happened before the house was built on this land.
Right. Everything that we found that sort of listed any crimes that happened or anything didn't go back very far. I mean, some of them went back to, like, 2002, and that was it. I mean, it was really hard to find any information. So we decided to take it a different route and just look up history of white ladies.
Right. And that's where we found that there's a legend that if a white lady appears in your house, it means that someone is going to die.
Now, here's the crazy part. When the white lady started appearing in this house...
My dad was diagnosed with lung cancer.
Stage 4, right?
Terminal cancer, yeah. He died 3 years ago.
Yeah. And this was the time when the white lady was super active, right, and everyone was seeing her in your house, and then your dad died. And that's just crazy to me.
I don't think anyone's seen her since then.
I mean, I haven't seen her at all. You haven't seen her.
I haven't.
Oh my god, that's so crazy.
Yeah.
That's insane. Alright, so, you know, if any of you see a white lady,
just
R.I.P.
move. just move.
Just get out.
Run away from your problems.
Go to the doctor, get yourself checked out.
Yeah.
But that's basically what we have on the white lady so far, right?
Now it's your turn.
Now it's my turn. My first experience with a ghost was not nearly as entertaining as the white lady. I thought the white lady was really cool. Mine was when I first moved to Arizona. I lived in this huge house, and it was in a place called, and I'm going to say it because I don't live there anymore, it was in a development called Litchfield Manor. Now, I mean, that already sounds Like, it's just out of, like, some, like...
Yeah, it does.
Fucking book horror story. But it was called Litchfield Manor. And there was some crazy stuff that happened there. And it wasn't just my house. But I'm going to start. I'm going to start from the beginning. I'm going to start in my room. So the first thing I noticed was I had this dresser, and I had things that were standing up, like paper things on the dresser. One of them was like the little like brochure thing that they gave us during one of my friend's memorial services. I had like birthday cards, things like that. Now, in Arizona with the weather, unless it's the summer, the AC is not on. The heat is not on.
No.
There's nothing. Okay, so there was no AC, there was no airflow, my fan wasn't on, everything was just like stale.
Was the window open? No.
My window was always closed just because me paranoid.
Right.
Like, you know. So all of a sudden, it's at night, and I'm sitting in my bed, and I'm just chilling. I hear something, I look up, and all of the papers on top of my dresser had fallen down. Just like every single one had just fallen face down on the ground. And I'm like... And I'm freaking out a little bit. Just because, one, if like a few of them fell down, I'd be like, okay, that's normal. Like, it's paper. But every single one of them fell down without any sort of airflow, and they all fell face down. They were all on the floor.
That's so fucking terrifying.
Yeah. And that was my first experience with it. And my room was adjacent to a bathroom. And that bathroom was like mine. I was the only one that used it. And at night, I would hear like 2 men and a woman in there having a conversation. I could never hear like what they were saying exactly, but I could hear them talking, and I heard a lot of noise, almost like there was a fucking like party going on in there.
That's
like
so weird.
Yeah. So I would like get the nerve to get up and open the door, and it was just like silence. And I would hear this sound, like I would hear these people talking up until I opened the door. And then it was just gone. It was just dead silent.
Did you ever like press your ear against the door?
No.
Were you too scared?
Yeah. I mean, I was young. I was maybe 13.
Yeah.
Maybe even younger than that. And like it got to the point where I would hear it every night, and I would just have to ignore it.
Yeah.
Because there was nothing I can do, and I didn't think my parents would believe me or anything. And there was another room on the other side of the bathroom. It was our guest room that for whatever reason was always freezing cold. And even my parents avoided going into that room.
That's so scary.
Right. Because it just had bad vibes. And no matter what the weather was outside, no matter what the weather was in the house, or temperature was in the house, in that room was cold. Like, not like, oh, it's a little chilly. Like, freezing.
Because only British people can get cold.
Well, you know what I mean.
I know.
So we avoided that room like the fucking plague. And my grandparents, whenever they would visit, they would sleep in that room. And they actually...
Because you don't care about your grandparents.
Well, I mean, how are we going to be like, well, you're going to have to sleep on the couch because that room has bad vibes, you know?
Right.
So, it actually got to the point where my grandparents wouldn't even sleep into the room. I don't even think I told you that. They wouldn't sleep in that room. Like, they would rather sleep on the couch. And they were like, it's too cold. It's too cold. And we would, like, turn on the heater, and my dad checked multiple times to make sure it was working in there. Like, he would check the vents and stuff. You could feel the hot air coming out of the vents. Like, It was working, but it was just so cold. And we actually found out recently that my parents knew that that house was haunted.
Yeah, I remember when your dad said that.
Right. We were sitting at the dinner table at my parents' house, and they were talking about it, and they would hear a baby crying. A baby just fucking crying. And now my parents are the number one people not to believe in ghosts. Like, if I said, Dad, I think there's a ghost, they would, like, lock me up. Like, seriously. They would, like, admit me. And here I am finding out that they knew that that house was haunted. Now, Litchfield Manor, the reason I said the name and I brought up, like, the whole development was because my house was not the only one that was haunted. So I rode the bus for a while, and all of my friends all had really weird stuff, like, happening in their house.
Like who?
I mean, friends from, like, 7th and 8th grade. Right. You wouldn't know of, like, and we all lived in Litchfield Manor, and it was all those houses, and there was actually a house that was across from ours, like, diagonally, that there would be people moving in and out of that house constantly. Like, we had so many new neighbors because no one ever stayed in that house more than a couple of years. And my mom, being the nosy chismosa that she is,
right,
she, like, was talking to the neighbors once, while they were moving out, and she found out that the reason so many people moved in and out of that house was because they thought it was fucking haunted. Like, it was that bad that they would keep moving out. Yeah, I think we went through, like, 3 different families.
That's crazy.
In the time that I lived there, yeah.
Did you ever go in the house?
Fuck that, no. There's no reason for me to go in there anyway. My house was haunted enough. You know, the funny thing is, though, is even if you asked me after that, do you believe in ghosts, I would have said no. Like, it just didn't click with me. Like,
yeah.
Like, I don't know why. But yeah, that was my first real experience with any sort of, like, hauntings or anything like that. Was just, nothing ever, like, weird happened in my room.
Right.
After that. It was always just the people in the bathroom.
Nowhere else?
Well, in the cold-ass room.
Did you ever hear the baby cry?
I didn't hear the baby crying, no.
That would be terrifying.
Yeah.
Imagine you're just in the house and you don't have a baby and you hear a baby crying, like, in your house. That's fucking...
And I wonder why it just happened to my parents, too.
I wonder why they stayed for so long.
Well, we built that house from, like, the bottom up.
Right.
Like, we built it from scratch. Which, that's another fucking thing, too. Okay, we built that house. Like, it was just land before our house was there. So we knew nothing had happened in that house. Mm-hmm. So it had to be the land. And, like, I swear, that Litchfield Manor was, like, built on something.
That's so terrifying.
Because yeah, and to this day, like, I guarantee you, we can talk to anyone that lives in Litchfield Manor still.
And they're like, yeah, that shit's haunted.
Yeah. But, that's my first real experience with it.
I mean, I don't know what you're talking about where you thought mine was more entertaining. I thought yours was way more entertaining.
The White Lady and Litchfield Manor, those are both pretty scary experiences, but, they get a lot worse.
They do.
They get a lot worse, especially after Sid and I get together. And if you want to hear about it, if you like this stuff and you want to hear more, we get a lot more into detail in the other ones because they're a lot more recent.
Yeah.
So make sure to tune in. We're going to be posting
every Wednesday.
I know today is Wednesday.
So I just said a day of the week, and I was like, looks like we're doing that one.
It was her turn to talk, so I, like, looked at her to signal it, and
I just sorry.
But I kind of like that. I like every Wednesday. I think that's good.
Yeah.
It's the middle of the week, so you got something to look forward to if you're, like, really into our podcast.
Yeah. If you can get through Monday, then you got something to look forward to.
So make sure you tune in Wednesday, apparently, for Charlie, Georgie, and Sid. for the Adventures of Charlie and Sid.
And Georgie.
We really love talking about this kind of stuff, and we hope you guys love listening to it.
Someone should know, so if it happens to them, they're prepared.
Yeah, and if you guys have any, like, crazy, like, ghost stories or anything weird that has happened to you guys, feel free to give us a shout out on social media.
Yeah.
All of our social media is
in the link below.
And we'll post it on each podcast that we post, but in case you forget for whatever reason, it's super easy. All of our social media is at Charlie and Sid, except for Twitter, that's at Charlie and Sid P. Because that was already taken. So, we really had fun doing this, and we hope you guys enjoyed it.
It was so nice to be able to tell all of our stories to you guys.
Yep, and we hope there's a lot more to come, so we'll see you guys next Wednesday.
See ya. Bye.